Hi everyone, I am Miss Peel, the science teacher from Cardinal Newman School in Hove, and today I'm going to show you how to use objects that you should hopefully have lying around at home to make a solar oven. So, things you'll need. You will need a pizza box. If you haven't got one, it's a good excuse to get a pizza. A shoebox would also work if you've got one of those lying about at home. You will need some foil, some cling film, sellotape, scissors, a 30cm ruler and some newspaper. Let's get going. This is the constructed solar oven. You will be following some really clear instructions as to how to get to this point from your pizza box. So, how is this an oven? How is it going to heat up food to the point where we can actually cook it? Okay, we're only going to be using energy from the sun, and in order to harness that energy, we have to have some special features on our solar oven. So, we have got a flap with some tin foil over it, which is very reflective. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your solar oven outside, around noon when the sun's at its highest, and you're going to move the flap to an angle where it's reflecting the sun's light down into the oven, and then you're going to secure it with the ruler to make sure it stays at that angle. That's a really key point. Okay, so it's the reflection of the sun's rays into the box that helps us with that. Inside the box, you're going to line it with newspaper. Okay, the reason for that is because newspaper, all bunched up like this, is a really good insulator. Okay, both the paper itself and the little bits of air that we've trapped with that newspaper are going to prevent heat from escaping out the sides of the solar oven. The last, most important feature of your solar oven is this top bit, okay, where we've stuck the cling film over the hole where the sun's light's going to come through. So, if you imagine the solar oven in action, the sun's light is coming in and reflecting into the oven. But we want to keep it in there then. We want to make the light, we want to convert that light energy into heat energy. So, if you've ever come back to your car after a long sunny day, you'll know that it feels so grim and hot inside that car. The reason is because your car is basically acting like a solar oven. It's letting the sun's light through the windows, and the sun's light can heat up the inside of the car. The hotter objects inside the car then give off a type of radiation that we call infrared. Okay? All hot things glow with a bit of infrared radiation. That is given off from the seats and the steering wheel and all the parts inside the car, but the infrared radiation can't go through the windows, it gets trapped in the car, and that leads to the car getting hotter and hotter and hotter. It's the same as how greenhouses work, and also you'll have heard a lot in the news about climate change and the greenhouse effect. It's what the Earth's atmosphere also does to the Earth. So we're going to be letting through light waves, which are going to heat up the inside of the box. The inside of the box is going to give off infrared radiation, which is then going to be trapped inside the box, both by the cling film and by the newspaper. And we're going to get, hopefully, some really hot temperatures inside there. So, this setup we've got here, there's an interesting analogy to global warming, which I briefly touched on earlier. Global warming, which is what's happening to the Earth at the moment, is caused by something called the greenhouse effect. Now, the greenhouse effect, we often think is a terrible thing. It's causing global warming, and that's true to an extent, but we need the greenhouse effect on the Earth, otherwise the average temperature of the Earth would be minus 20 degrees Celsius, and we wouldn't be able to support life. So the greenhouse effect is a really important process that's happening. We let the sun's light through the atmosphere, it heats up the Earth, and the Earth then starts to glow with that infrared radiation. Now, instead of our solar oven, where the heat is trapped by the cling film, obviously the Earth isn't covered in a layer of cling film. What it is covered in is a layer of gases, which we call the atmosphere. Now, some of these gases, which we tend to refer to as greenhouse gases, have that effect of trapping infrared radiation. Methane and carbon dioxide are the two that we tend to think about the most. Now, human activities can increase levels of those gases in the atmosphere, and then we end up with a greenhouse effect that's too much, it's too strong, and we are trapping more heat than we need to, and that is what leads to global warming. So, hopefully now you have a better idea of the science behind what we're doing today. You've got the worksheet that will help you to build the solar oven, but obviously then we've got to actually use it. It's not just here to look pretty, although obviously it's beautiful. Your food's obviously going to go in here. You could try a piece of bread, try and make some toast, maybe pop some butter on it, see if that melts. You could try to make some nachos with cheese. Try and put some cookie dough in there, see if you can make cookies. Let's see how much power we can get out of our solar pizza oven.